I fucking love Batman. I've seen every single movie, show, and even the animated movies of the Caped Crusader, and even some of the bad ones that are supposed to tie in with Batman. I've made what has to be 1,000 videos on the Gothic Nightmare, but I've never understood the fascination I had with this character. I started watching Marvel and DC movies when I was younger because dear old dad told me the amazing, fantastic, and wonderful stories they can tell. Then I moved on to comics after movies and fell in love even more. Then one day I said, fuck it, I'll make my own movie. Got the script all done, but couldn't get the scheduling right.
It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the fuck are your parents?
I remember being a kid and recreating the iconic interrogation scene in The Dark Knight, fully decked out in a Walmart Batman costume, pretending that I was Batman. You're probably thinking,
Well, Logan, we all played pretend when we were younger. We all wanted to be someone who could help the people, to make the world a better place.
well, yeah, but remembering this made me realize that these films, hit me emotionally, mentally, and physically quicker than Batman's fist. When you think of Batman, what do you think about? Do you think about the dark, brooding man in the cave who struggles to keep his city together, fighting and punching the living shit out of criminals? Or do you think about the trauma a kid went through and never got over? Whenever I think of Batman, I think of a man, a boy who lost everything, had his whole life turned upside down, and he believes that it's his fault.
What do we, folks? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
The positives. In this movie, we see all the different kinds of Bruce. The anger, the sadness, the justice. In Batman Begins, we get to see what that anger, sadness, and vengeance did. What it created. Bruce's parents died and created Batman. The love of Bruce's life dies, and it creates a broken man. A sulking, grieving, vengeance-seeking, violent Batman. Everything that has happened to Bruce, all the loss, pain, sadness, and anger dwells on him. It, in a way, helps him to be the best man and the best Batman he can be. But at the same time, that anger, sadness, and rage eats at his soul until there's nothing left.
Alfred, who do you see when you look at me? The boy whose shoes you used to tie every morning? The teenager you drove to his first date? While you are here every night, I am out there. The only thing between the innocent and the predator. Be. No, not may be. I am. When the mugger or the thief stops to think twice, that is fear. That is what I am. That is why they hired assassins, because I am the reason the criminals breathe easier when the sun rises. So no, Alfred, I am not in over my head.
Heath Ledger's Joker, a character that has always fascinated me, a character who never gives a clear quote-unquote origin story. When I first saw this movie at the ripe age of 7, I loved this character, and still do to this day. There is so much mystery behind him, and Heath Ledger's performance is phenomenal. Definitely the best Joker, in my opinion, of course, but there are still the greats such as Mark Hamill and Joaquin Phoenix that are up there on the list too. You can tell when an actor is doing their best when you see them on screen putting their heart and soul into a role. In this case, it is with Heath Ledger's Joker. You can tell he's putting his heart and soul into his performance. Sadly, he was unable to receive the Oscar he won because he passed shortly before the red carpet premiere of the movie.
And the Oscar goes to Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
Rest in peace, Heath. You are one of the greats. You paved the way for so many talented, amazing, and fantastic actors and actresses such as yourself, as well as fans like me. Thank you from me and all the DC fans far and wide. You made us all very proud. Rewatching this movie while making this video has reminded me how much the studios and companies interfere nowadays. One of my favorite film reviewers, High Top Films, said in his Batman Begins video that they took a chance on Christopher Nolan, a man who had 3 films under his belt, to rebrand and make Batman good again. And considering it's among the top praised trilogies, I think we can all say that he did a damn good job. But considering how many minutes I just spent having a joygasm over how amazing, cinematic, and fantastic and flawless I think this film is. There still are some flaws, but considering how much of a Batman and Nolan fan I am, I'm gonna let my friend Sam explain the negatives while I rewatch The Dark Knight for the 7th time in a row, because it's just that good.
The first time I watched The Dark Knight, I was still in high school, and the scene that was most memorable for me was when Jay Ajay White's character puts a hit out on the Joker, and some thugs come into his billiard room and bring the body, and surprise, he's not really dead. And the suspense was so bad, was bad at meaning good, of the Joker lying to this character, lying and deceiving and intimidating this very, very large, strong man, intimidating, imposing man himself in his own right. But just him doing it back to him, in my eyes, he cut him. He cut him. I remember seeing the side of his face get cut open, even though he didn't really do it. After I rewatched it, several times, as most fans do, and even as genuine film watchers and makers have watched this film over and over and over again, he doesn't cut him. He doesn't. The scene, he sticks the knife in his mouth and he looks over at his henchman and says, "Why so serious?" And then it cuts too quick to the henchman's face and just pure disgust and anguish. And that scene, in my eyes, like I said, he cut him. And after rewatching it, I'm like, wow, he didn't cut him. But the suspense was so horrible watching that scene, I thought he cut him. Like, amazing filmmaking. Christopher Nolan, like I said, the whole trilogy is a masterpiece. But that scene right there was the most memorable for me. Amazing scene. Amazing. My second favorite scene is when the Joker, and it's funny, of course, when he comes into Harvey Dent's fundraiser, and that was really memorable and quotable. So when I say that Heath Ledger's Joker, he steals the show like the Hulk, I'm not saying that the Hulk and the Joker are on the same level as far as characters go, or even actors go. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that he steals the show. That's a fact. The Hulk steals the show. The Joker steals the show, okay? But here's the difference. The Joker, there's some scenes where it just comes down to blatant luck that these things are happening and working out for him. I'll give you an example. The first one I can think of is, let's go back to the pool table scene. People to work for him. And it's not too crazy to think that men would follow him. And he does get help, and then maybe they're intimidated by him. It can happen. People can blindly follow a man. That's why in the movie, or in The Dark Knight Rises, Bane has his people, and his people are willing to die for him. Joker just kills his henchmen, as you see in the first bank scene, he has his men kill the other men, but that's different from Bane's henchmen. Bane's henchmen are willing to die, for their cause, But at the same time, he would not have as many people work for him as he has in the movie. It just seems like way too much. Like, example, the pool table scene, like I was talking about earlier. Right after he kills Jay White's character, he snaps the billiard stick in half, the pool table stick in half, throws it down to the three guys and says, someone can join our team, we only have room there's only one spot open, so make it fast. That's what the Joker says and walks out. Those three guys, what are we led to believe? That those three guys had to fight each other to the death, with one stick, whoever picked, you know what I mean? Like, that's just insane. Like, stop it, like, that's just, and then work for that guy, work for that maniac after that, like, so there's some people who aren't willing to work for this guy, some are, sure, I'll tell you another unbelievable scene, to me, the scene when he's undercover at the parade, trying to kill the mayor of Gotham City. That scene, to me, is so bogus, because here we have the Joker, who is the most wanted criminal, if not in the United States, and probably in the world at this point. Not only is there, we should have the whole entire Gotham City looking for this man. They somehow let this dude with scars clearly on his face, crazy, wacky looking guy, be stationed right in front of the mayor. Everyone would have been looking for this man. They would have found that man.
Thanks, Sam. The Dark Knight was and still is a movie that gives me hope and has a message that I learn more and more about the more I get older, that it's okay to be afraid. But it's what you do with that fear that makes you who you are. You can avenge it, learn from it, or you can just let it control you. Whether or not he thinks he is afraid, Joker is afraid. He's afraid of society, afraid of what it was like and what it has evolved to be before and after his acid bath, and Bruce has longed with his fear, learning from it and making sure it never happens to anyone else. Let's get real for a second. I've been feeling a bit afraid people see me in different ways, afraid no one enjoys my company, but that's just my anxiety and my mind going off the rails. I love and appreciate all of you guys that enjoy what I make. It takes a long time to make it, but it's worth it when I make someone smile and make their day. And thank you so much for loving my WandaVision video. Personally, I don't think it's my best work, but it seems like you guys really enjoyed it. I love you all. See you in the next one. And remember, I'm Batman.